Let me tell you something real, something most people find out the hard way. You think you have friends. Wait until you're broke. Wait until you fail. Wait until you make a decision that doesn't benefit them. And then look around. That's when the masks fall off. That's when the truth shows up in silence. Most people in your life are not your real friends. They're just characters playing a part in your good times. They're there for the party, not the pain. They're there when you're rising, not when you're drowning. Because this world is transactional. People support you as long as you serve their purpose. The moment your situation stops benefiting them, they disappear like smoke. No explanation, no goodbyes, just distance. And listen carefully, it's not personal, it's just how this world works. But if you don't understand this early, life will teach you in the harshest ways. When you're at your lowest, nobody shows up. When you're confused, people laugh. When you dream big, they doubt you. But when you rise, oh, suddenly they remember your name. Suddenly they want to check in, send a proud of you message, pretend they were always there. That's not friendship. That's convenience. That's emotional tourism. People visiting your life when the weather's good and leaving the moment it gets stormy. So be careful. Don't open your heart to everyone. Don't tell your dreams to people who secretly hope you fail. Don't mistake company for loyalty. And for God's sake, don't rely on others to validate your worth. Learn to be your own friend. Learn to clap for yourself in silence. Because the day you stop relying on people is the day you start becoming powerful. Work hard. Stay quiet. Let your success answer every question they asked behind your back. Let your progress do the talking, and let your discipline build the life no one thought you could. It's better to walk alone than walk with people who pretend to care. Here's the bitter truth. Most people don't actually want to see you win. They want you to do well, just not better than them. They want to see you survive, but not thrive. They want to be your corner as long as your shine doesn't cast a shadow on their mediocrity. And the moment you rise above what they expected of you, they switch. They stop answering calls. They stop showing up. They start using phrases like, "You've changed. You forgot us. You think you're better." No, you did change, and you should. You grew, and growth is a lonely journey. It's not that you walked away. It's that they stayed behind. Real friendship isn't about being available only when it's easy. It's about presence in pain, not just smiles in success. It's about clapping even when you're losing, not just celebrating when you're winning. But sadly, that kind of loyalty is rare. That's why you must learn how to move without cheerleaders. You must build without applause. You must survive without a safety net, because the real ones, you won't have to ask them to stay. They'll prove it in silence. And as for the rest, let them go, let them fade. Let time reveal what words always tried to hide. You'll come to understand that the people who really care about you don't need constant attention. They don't need to benefit from you. They don't switch up when your circumstances change. They stay because they love you, not your lifestyle. So don't be afraid to lose people. Be afraid to lose yourself trying to keep people who were never really with you. Your peace is too expensive to bargain with betrayal. Protect it, guard it. And if that means walking alone, walk tall, because alone doesn't mean empty. It means full of purpose. It means free from the chains of fake friendships. It means rising on your own terms. You weren't born to be understood by everyone. You were born to become someone that even your past self wouldn't recognize. So let them call you distant. Let them say you changed. Let them misunderstand your silence. Because the truth is, you did change. You stopped expecting loyalty from the disloyal. You stopped explaining yourself to those who were committed to misunderstanding you. And most of all, you stopped looking for love in places that only gave you lessons. This is your time now to become sharper, wiser, stronger, and more focused than you've ever been. Remember this, the real ones don't flinch when you're low. They don't flake when you fall. They don't fade when you rise. The rest, let them leave. They were never real to begin with. The moment you realize that this world doesn't revolve around your pain, you become dangerous. Let's be honest, people are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. Everyone is busy chasing dreams, escaping failures, healing wounds, hiding pain. And in this mad rush, they don't have time to carry your burdens too, not because they're evil, but because they're human. We grow up with the illusion that others will always be there, that someone will rescue us when we fall, guide us when we're lost, stay loyal no matter what. But reality is different. Most people only check on you when it's convenient. They'll scroll past your silence. They'll overlook your struggle. And they'll remember you only when your story becomes a success headline. That's why, after every heartbreak, every betrayal, every unexpected absence, you need to make a choice. Keep expecting people to save you, or start building the version of yourself that doesn't need saving anymore. Because if you keep relying on people who are stuck in their own chaos, you'll keep falling into disappointment. And disappointment again and again leads to weakness. But when you shift your mindset from "who's going to help me" to "how do I help myself," that's when your life starts to change. Look around. This world rewards the resilient, not the broken, not the beggars of support, but the builders of strength. When you stop relying on emotional promises and start relying on discipline, your world shifts. When you stop waiting for people to show up and start showing up for yourself, you become a different force. Yes, it hurts when people walk away. Yes, it stings when no one notices your struggle, but that pain, that silence, that's your invitation to rise, to grow, to build yourself brick by brick, without applause, without cheerleaders, without anyone holding your hand. Because the day you realize no one is obligated to understand your journey, you stop wasting time explaining it, you stop oversharing, you stop expecting validation, and you start building something unshakable inside you. Let them be busy, let them be distracted, let them forget your pain. You remember, you pick up the pieces, you get back up. The world may not care about your excuses, but it will respect your results. In a self-centered world, self-reliance is your armor. The less you need from people, the less you need control they have over you. They can't guilt you when you don't seek their approval. They can't silence you when you've learned to clap for yourself. And the best part, when you finally rise on your own terms in your own silence, those same people who left you behind, they'll come back, not because they changed, but because your strength made them realize they never broke you. So today, make a decision. Stop begging for support. Stop waiting for someone to see your worth. You already have everything you need inside you. No more, why didn't they show up? Now it's, thank God I learned to show up for myself, because in the end, the person who will walk through every fire with you is the one in your mirror. Let the world run in circles, build in silence, in strength, and in complete independence. Ever wonder why life starts to feel lonelier the moment you begin to grow? It's strange, right? You think the more you rise, the more people would want to stand by your side. The more you succeed, the more support you'd get. But the truth is, much colder success doesn't attract loyalty. It exposes it. When you're struggling, people relate to you. You're not a threat. You're still one of them. Your pain makes them comfortable because it doesn't challenge them to grow. Your failure makes them feel okay about their own. But the moment you break that cycle, the moment you stop complaining and start building, the moment you stop making excuses and start making moves, the distance begins. They stop calling. They stop checking in. They stop clapping. Why? Because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your progress becomes a mirror to their procrastination, and rather than deal with their reflection, they choose to avoid yours. That's why growth feels like loss. Not just the loss of comfort, but the loss of company. People you thought would be proud of you start acting cold. People who once celebrated your small wins now question your big ones. You hear things like, "You've changed. Don't forget where you came from. You're too busy now." No, you didn't change. They just never expected you to outgrow the version of you that kept them comfortable. And here's the harsh truth. Not everyone can handle your growth. Some friendships are built on shared struggle, not deep connection. As long as you were struggling together, there was a bond. But the moment you break free, that bond breaks too. You weren't meant to stay stuck for someone else's comfort. You weren't born to dim your light so they could shine. And you definitely weren't sent here to apologize for evolving. So don't apologize for setting boundaries. Don't apologize for raising your standards. Don't apologize for walking away from people who celebrated your weakness but can't handle your strength. You'll start to notice it's not always loud betrayal. Sometimes it's just quiet distance. They stop supporting your work. They stop mentioning your name. They exclude you from conversations. They smile to your face but go silent behind your back. That silence is loud. That distance is real. That shift, that's the cost of growth. And yes, it hurts. It hurts to let go of people who once felt like home. It hurts to outgrow the very ones you thought would walk this whole journey with you. But pain is the price of elevation. Not everyone was meant to go where you're headed. Some people were only supposed to walk with you for a season, not a lifetime. So stop begging people to stay in chapters they were never written for. Stop dragging dead weight into your future just because of history. Loyalty has an expiry date. When growth is missing, let them go. Because real ones, they won't just clap when you win. They'll help you build. They'll tell you hard truths. They'll grow with you, not get jealous of you. Jealousy isn't always obvious. Sometimes it hides behind fake support. Sometimes it wears the mask of sarcasm or backhanded compliments. And sometimes it looks like withdrawal, quiet, slow, but intentional. The ones who used to say, "You got this," now say, "Don't get ahead of yourself." That's not concern, that's insecurity. And you don't need to carry that energy into your future. You need peace, you need clarity. You need people who remind you of your worth, not your limits. So if growth means walking alone for a while, walk alone, walk tall, walk silently. Let your results speak. Let your actions echo louder than their absence. Because in the end, your growth isn't the problem. Their comfort with your old version was. You're not selfish for evolving. You're not arrogant for dreaming big. You're not wrong for outgrowing what no longer fits. You're just becoming who you were meant to be all along, and that will cost you people. But it will reward you with purpose, so keep going. Let go of the noise. Let go of the jealousy. Let go of the guilt. And grow, even if you have to do it alone. Trust, it's one of the most valuable things you'll ever give someone, and yet so many people throw it around like confetti. Just because someone smiles at you, just because they call you bro, just because they check in once in a while, it does not mean they're trustworthy. Real trust, it's not built on words, it's built on patterns. See, anyone can be nice when it benefits them. Anyone can check in when life is easy. But trust is tested when things get messy, when you fail, when you're vulnerable, when you have nothing to offer. That's when their true colors show. Do they stick around when it's inconvenient? Do they respect your name when you're not in the room? Do they protect what you shared in silence? Or do they disappear, gossip, shift, and show you they were never real to begin with? You don't need 100 people calling you family. You need 1 or 2 who show up when everyone else disappears. You don't need people who talk big. You need people whose actions match their silence. Most people confuse emotional comfort with actual loyalty. They think because someone makes them feel good in the moment, they're trustworthy. But listen, feelings fade, charm wears off, smiles lie. And words mean nothing without consistency behind them. So if you want to protect your peace, learn this early. Do not trust people based on moments. Trust them based on patterns. Ask yourself, how do they act when I'm down? Are they present when it's inconvenient? Can they be trusted with my name, my story, my silence? And more importantly, how long have they proven that? Through what kind of storms? Because trust isn't built overnight. It's earned through time, through experience, through being tested again and again. And here's the thing most people don't want to hear. If someone breaks your trust, it's not always betrayal. Sometimes it's your fault for trusting too soon. Don't hand people the keys to your emotional world before they've proven they know how to drive it. Don't overshare your dreams, your pain, your secrets until time proves they deserve that access. And if they don't, that's okay. Not everyone is meant to walk with you that deeply. Start guarding your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. You don't owe anyone instant access. You don't owe anyone your vulnerability just because they seem nice. You don't need to explain your silence, your boundaries, or your distance. Let time reveal the truth. Because trust built too fast breaks even faster. And once broken, it rarely comes back whole. Even if you forgive, the cracks remain. Even if you move on, something always shifts. That's why it's better to build it slowly, deliberately, and with eyes wide open. And don't just ask if they can be trusted. Ask yourself, am I trustworthy? Do your actions match your words? Do you protect what's shared with you in confidence? Do you show up when it's hard, not just when it's convenient? Be the kind of person others feel safe with, not because you talk sweet, but because your consistency speaks louder than your lips ever could. In a world full of masks, become the rare one who moves with truth, who doesn't need to prove loyalty because it's already woven into their character. Trust is not a gift, it's a reward, and only those who earn it deserve to carry it. There comes a moment in every life where you must face this truth. You have to learn how to walk alone, not because you're unlovable, not because you've done something wrong, but because life at its core is a solo mission. You came into this world alone. And every critical decision, every turning point, every life-defining moment will be made when no one else can feel what you feel or carry what you carry. So instead of fearing isolation, embrace it. Instead of hating solitude, learn to use it. Because walking alone doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong enough to carry your vision even when no one else can see it. You have to stop waiting for someone to understand your fire. You have to stop explaining your hunger to people who are full. You have to stop slowing down your pace just to keep company that was never meant to go where you're headed. Some of the loudest pain in your journey will come from the silence of those you expected to walk beside you. But don't take it personally. Not everyone is meant to go the distance. Sometimes you lose people not because of failure, but because of progress. And that's okay. That's part of the price you pay for becoming someone greater than who you used to be. When you walk alone, you develop clarity. You start hearing your own voice, not theirs. You stop seeking permission. You stop asking, is this okay? And start saying, this is necessary. You stop begging for support and start building your backbone. That's where real confidence lies, not in applause, not in attention, but in knowing you can keep walking whether the road is full of cheers or completely silent. And here's the paradox: the moment you truly accept solitude, it stops feeling like loneliness, because loneliness comes from needing others to feel whole. But solitude comes from knowing you already are. You start to see that your peace doesn't require permission, that you don't need a crowd to feel worthy, that your path is sacred even if no one else walks it with you. You stop fearing missing out. You stop chasing every opportunity. honestly, because not everything is meant for you, and you don't need to be everywhere to become someone valuable. The most powerful people in the world, they know how to be alone. They're not addicted to noise. They're not emotionally dependent. They've mastered the silence and found strength inside it. When you're alone, you get to face yourself honestly. You learn your flaws, you confront your habits. You stop distracting yourself with people, parties, and praise, and you start asking the hard questions. Who am I without validation? What do I really want? Where am I headed? And who do I need to become to get there? And here's the truth, most won't admit some of your greatest breakthroughs won't happen around others. They'll happen when you're staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., when you're walking alone, doubting everything, and still choosing to believe anyway. That's the moment your character is built. That's when discipline is born. That's when inner peace grows. That's when silence turns into strength. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it gets lonely. But that's the season where real champions are made, not in comfort, not in crowds, but in solitude. And once you master walking alone, you'll never again settle for fake friendships. You'll never again shrink yourself to fit a space that doesn't honor you. You'll never again tie your worth to who stays or who claps. You'll walk with your head high, not because you're arrogant, but because you've already survived what most fear, being alone and still choosing to rise. So don't fear solitude, use it, let it sharpen you, let it strip away the noise. Let it prepare you for the version of yourself that's not built on external love, but internal fire. Because when you learn to walk alone, with peace, with purpose, and without apology, you become unstoppable. And that right there is when the world finally begins to respect what it once ignored.